Radio Free America. Ladies and gentlemen, Rusty Shackelford getting back after it. I have with me as a special guest Sean Robertson from freedomwire.com. Sean is a political writer, a commentary. He has his own podcast with Freedom Wire. And I wanted to have him on today because just before we get to the election, I think it's important that there is real conversations going on that are not filtered through Fox News or the Drudge Report or CNN, ABC, CBS, blah, blah, blah. Because I've been by whole cloth let down by pretty much every one of these institutions, with rare exception. Tucker Carlson is one exception, and that's only fairly recently. Anyway, Sean Robertson here from Freedom Wire. And I wanted to ask Sean, I believe wholeheartedly that Trump is going to win in a landslide. I find it very difficult to believe that he won't. I don't know. One of the things that are going on out there is they're saying that misinformation, this is how propaganda works. You make the other side feel that they have no way to win. And so the polls are going to blow Trump out of the water, just like they did in 2016. Every news story is going to blow Trump out of the water, just like it did in 2016. They try to make you feel like it's not possible. They try to pin you down in a foxhole somewhere in France and make it so that the Germans, you have no choice. You're going to get overrun. But we're Americans. We're going to get out of that foxhole. We're going to take that shot.
We're not even in the foxhole. That's the whole thing. We're not even in the foxhole.
Well, this is where they think they have us. This is where they think they have us.
Yeah, the problem is they're using spitballs, and we got M16s.
Does anyone remember the governor of Georgia? This would have been 2004, I believe, when George W. Bush was running for re-election. And he was a lifelong Democrat. I forget his name, and this is off the cuffs. You'd have to look it up. But he ended up doing a speech at the RNC. And he was upset because at the time Democrats were trying to defund the military because we had just gone into Iraq, and it was their political chance to cut George W. Bush off the knees. So he came out and said, how are we supposed to beat our enemies if we're going to defund our military and take away our rockets and planes with spitballs? So sorry, a little side there, but yeah, exactly. So how the hell do you beat people with spitballs? Because they certainly don't have them. If you look at what's going on in Philly, if you look at what's going on in Portland, they're not carrying spitballs. They're carrying the shit that they're carrying what we're not allowed to, right? The AR-15s, the handguns. We're not allowed to have those, but they are.
Well, yeah, and here's the most troubling thing that I've seen about this whole process. There's only one side that's calling for violence if the other side wins, and it's not the Republicans. And when you have an elected official in Ayanna Pressley saying that if Trump wins, there needs to be unrest in the streets. She didn't say protest. Now, it's important to understand that
code word.
Words
it's code
matter.
Word. It's code word.
Yeah.
That's how you activate the masses. This is Ocasio-Cortez did this a couple weeks back when she said it's time to radicalize. Make no mistake about it. They know that their bacon's cooked. They know full well that Trump's going to get reelected. They have ensconced themselves in D.C. and every major city across the U.S., and when that happens, they're going to set it on fire. And they're going to go after And by the way, I heard a very scary commercial on AM radio, and they played it over and over and over again.
I didn't know AM radio was still around.
Well, let me tell you, it is still around, and I heard a couple of this exact same plug many times in the last 2 weeks, and it's scary. It starts off something like, register to vote. If you're registered to vote, your friends and family, it's public record. People will know that you voted, and they'll know what your party registration is. Yeah. Yeah, look
really?
It up. Yeah. Just Google, you can Google any iHeartRadio vote and people who know what you're doing. I mean, we'll see if it comes. Google might not tell you that. But yeah, no, I hear this every day. Every morning I work out, I listen to AM radio, and that's what I hear. I listen to news radio. I want to know what's going on with the traffic, the weather. And so that's, yeah. Isn't that scary?
We
know, in other words, we know you're registered. Well, we don't know how you voted, but we know what you registered as, and we know if you did.
And we know where you live.
And we know where you live because it's all public record. This should scare the living hell out of anyone.
Mm-hmm. Both sides.
Yeah. This is un-American. First off, I don't give a shit how. Look, if Trump loses, it's terrible. I honestly, genuinely believe and even if he wins, I don't think we have much longer after that. Like, this is a fight for our lives, no matter what.
Well, depends.
It's a fight for our lives. It depends on how many people stand up and say no.
Right.
But as it stands right now, if he loses, we don't have any time. Time's over. Like, that's it. Like, there's no plan B. That's pretty much it.
So if you think if Trump loses, socialism will come to America?
100%. It's already here. It's been here. It's been here for a very long time. We're such a big wealthy country that we've been able to mask it. But it's been here. It's been here my whole life.
Well, that's, and the left thinks, why we are against what's called healthcare.
Universal healthcare, single payer healthcare, however you want.
The reason we are against it is it has nothing to do with wanting to take care of people. We want everybody to be taken care of. It's not like
this is a good point.
It's not like we have less compassion than anybody else.
It is the same reason we want taxes lower. It is the same reason that we want opportunity for everyone. It's because we want everyone to be able to enjoy the level of success that they can, the highest possible level of success. We want everyone to have the highest possible level of healthcare, the highest possible level of everything. Right. We want that afforded. This is how we grew up. This is what we know as America. This is what we know America to be. And we certainly don't want our children to face a tougher road. Now, when I say a tougher road, I don't mean things handed to them. That's the problem. Because that's what's going on in the college campuses these days, is that kids get stuff handed to them. They have ideas forced down their throat, and they're indoctrinated. What I'm talking about is the good old-fashioned, learn for yourself, fall on your face, get back up, scrape off your knees, make a mistake, learn from it, and move on. That's the America that we grew up in. And that's the America that we're risking on losing just days from now.
Yeah, and what's scary about all that is they are doing exactly what AOC is. Those college students have become radicalized. Mm-hmm. And in some colleges you can't clap because it's a microaggression. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous. And if I would have told you that 5 years ago, you would have laughed me out of the room. If I would have told anyone 5 years ago that if you clap, 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, 5 months ago, no. But you see how quickly this snowball rolls down the hill? If I would have told you 10 years ago that there are transgender bathrooms, you would have said, oh, what? What the hell is that? And then you would have laughed at me, and then you would have said, no, you're crazy. But this is how quickly this all moves. But the ball goes to their court, and they own it. But you cannot step outside of that court.
Here's the thing, though. And I understand he said we're going to be in a fight for our lives, but I truly believe Trump is that wall that the snowball is going to smash against if he wins. And here's the thing, and here's what gives me hope. When you see thousands of cars in New York City, when you see thousands of cars in these blue-run states running these caravans, and look, regardless of whether he wins or loses, what this tells me is that there are thousands, millions of people that feel exactly like I do.
Oh, I have hope as well.
And they're just being quiet.
I have hope as well, and the hope is in that just the way that this country was founded, we overcame the impossible. We had a bunch of guys that were never in a fight in their lives, picking up pitchforks and muskets, taking down an enemy that was trying to control everything about their lives, trying to micromanage every aspect of their lives, which, by the way, doesn't pale in comparison to what's happening to us now. We used to fight over a 2% increase in tax. That was enough for us to fight. And now a 2% increase in tax, well, that's just par for the course.
Now, if Biden wins, so here's the thing. Biden wins. We're talking about bringing us to taxes because we're just going flow here. Whatever we're talking about, it's going to be what we're going to come up with. I have people telling me that taxes aren't going to go up for anybody except for the rich, and I said, well, wait a second.
That's stupid.
Joe Biden has said on multiple occasions he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
That means everyone gets it.
That means everybody's taxes immediately.
But not only do they all get it right off the bat, but they all get it through the merchandise. They all get it through the store. They get it through Amazon. They get it through Walmart. They get it through the grocery store. Because once you increase corporate taxes, they pass it right through. It's a pass-through tax. Yeah. They all do it. You have no other choice. Otherwise you got to fire everyone, go out of business. So of course it passes through. And that's what you call a rate of inflation. That's another indicator of inflation. So go ahead and increase those taxes and debase our currency and watch what happens to prices of things.
But all these liberals that think that they're only going to raise taxes on the rich shows you how blind they are to the truth.
Well, they've been lied to, and that's unfortunate.
And they believe
It actually breaks my heart because these people are unsuspecting. It's like taking advantage of anyone. It's like when you hear. I remember a few years back in Boynton Beach, Florida. I read this news story in Palm Beach Post that there was this old man, and he was like in his late 80s, and he went once a week to Bob's Pianos in the Boynton Beach Mall, and every week for like 6 months, he bought a piano from the same salesman. The salesman made tons of commissions off of whatever the cost of piano was, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Those are not cheap.
Right. It was a lot of money. But this guy sold him the same piano every week. So this is the point. This is what the Democrat Party does. It takes people and it takes advantage of them and it preys on their weakness. Now, in this case, the guy's weakness was that he wasn't there, right? He had the Alzheimer's. But it doesn't matter what your weakness is. If your weakness is that you have low self-esteem, the Democrat Party will be right there to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
If you've been taken advantage of in any way, or you think that you're owed something, the Democrat Party will be there to take advantage of. The Democrat Party preys on weakness. The Democrat Party will never tell you to get up and brush yourself off. You will never hear that message.
You know my past. You know when we became friends, multiple occasions. You know when we got to know each other, I was as liberal as they come. I voted for Obama.
This is true, ladies and gentlemen.
This is who I was because they were preying on my compassion. I thought that the left, that the Democrats were more compassionate, more caring. And then I bought into that whole hope and change bullshit. Bought into it hook, line, and sinker.
I know this.
And then being a part of that administration, trying to carve out a career under that administration, being deregulated to where the company that I built with our friend Eric, that company, we got deregulated right out of business. We went from making...
You mean regulated out of business?
Regulated right out of business.
Yeah.
We went from making $90,000 a month to zero. Mm-hmm. To zero. And we had the government agencies breathing down our neck, had to deal with the SEC on multiple occasions, which I don't wish on my worst enemy because here's the truth. When it comes to the U.S. government, if they want to put you behind bars...
You're toast.
You're going.
They have about a 98% success rate.
Yeah. And it's not like I have the money to hire the kind of lawyer that can get me out of that. So, all I could do was be as truthful to these people as possible. Luckily, we weren't the target, but, when you sit across the table from an SEC agent on multiple occasions, you start second-guessing everything.
That's the idea.
So
that
was Obama's America. He put me out of business, and I had to not do anything for years. And luckily, I found something else. But regardless of that, I didn't become
baptism by fire.
Yes, I came to conservatism because of them. Much like Trump told Biden, the reason I ran is because of you. The reason I voted for Trump was because of Biden and Obama, and it forced my eyes open. And now I can't go back to sleep. And I think there's a lot of Americans out there that are just like me.
So Narnia is it may be a fictitious place in the movies, but America really does live in two different realities. The deep state is Narnia. The deep state is they will cast their spells. They will run roughshod on you. They will come across the wardrobe onto the other side, and they'll drag you back in to have their way with you, if they so wish. If you're too successful, too conservative, you name it.
Yeah, I don't understand why. What is so? I mean, I do understand 100%. It's about power. I had a conversation with a kid over social media the other day who started his own business, and I said, and I know he's a liberal, And I said, and he started his own business and things are going good. I said, man, isn't capitalism awesome? He goes, well, I would, he came back with me a little bit later and he said something about, well, it's good to know that I'm not being exploited as a worker anymore. And I said, whoa.
Well, then who are you exploiting?
Here's the question.
Okay. So then now you're the boss. Now you're the chief. Now you're the big guy. Who are you exploiting? If you believe that capitalism is as right as you say it is, and you're making money from someone, then either A, you're screwing someone, or B, you're exploiting someone. So that's the question. That's how I would. Who are you exploiting?
I didn't even think of it that way.
Who are you exploiting?
I thought,
because that's the way his brain works.
Right. But you know what I started thinking immediately is, because I know he agrees with socialism. I go, what do you think happens to workers under socialism? What do you think happens to workers under communism? What do you think happens?
Well, the term itself, workers, is a communistic term.
Yes.
There is no if you refer to people as workers, you've stripped them of their individualism, of the talents that God gave them individually, of their abilities to make decisions on their own. And you've grouped them into a lump sum of people who perform a simple task and they do it over and over again, and their opinion isn't valued, their ideas aren't valued, nothing is valued. That's what a worker is. That's how, which is why I detest the term worker. I don't like the term.
You know a term I detest even more? Proletariat.
Man, you used some big words over there. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about dystopia and utopia. And
this isn't my language. This is the language of the left. That's what they're using. To them, it's.
This is the language of the overeducated and underlived, no life experience left. Yeah.
And these are the people who are calling for violence. And I told somebody told me that. Somebody made a post and he said, you guys, if you don't vote for Biden, you're going to piss off somebody you don't want to piss off.
Well, then you ain't black.
And I told them, I go, okay. I go, tell me who these people that I'm supposed to be afraid of on the left. I go, because most of the people I see on the left are skinny, inept, unconfident mama's boys that could not fight their way out of a paper bag, that the only way they get an advantage is when they have the numbers a la Antifa.
The only way they get an advantage is if they're victims.
Yeah, I made the...
How is there strength in victimhood? There only is if you're a liberal. But the alligator will eat them just as quickly as the alligator eats us, given the chance.
Yeah, but they're a pack. I gave them the analogy. A pack of hyenas can take down a single lion, but you put the pride together, and there is no pack of hyenas anymore. That's what happens, and that's what's going on here.
You don't want to tell a bunch of pride people they can get a pack of heinies. That's not going to go very well. Rusty Shackelford, Radio Free America, Sean Robertson, FreedomWire.com. Hey, vote Trump. We'll see you next week. Take care.